You know that feeling you get when you hear a song you like for the first time? That feeling. It sparks something in you, right? And it could be art or a sports clip. You get all excited, you want to know more about it, and you know exactly who you want to share this with. That is what culture is about to me. That feeling of wanting to know more and sharing it with someone. There's no logical explanation to why I would fall in love with basketball. Even less logic why I would fall in love with the subcultures connected to basketball, like hip hop or sneakers. I grew up in a small town south of Stockholm called Tungelsta. There's nothing in my environment that is even remotely connected to subcultures like hip hop or the culture around basketball. There's no basketball on TV, there's no basketball in magazines, and they did not play hip hop on the radio. But that's the power of a subculture, just finds you. And I get it as a skinny white kid in Sweden. I get a very romanticized image of hip hop as it finds me in the late 80s. But that's also within the power of a subculture. Fueled by the passion of those who are creating it, it continues to develop and grow outside of its origin, regardless of how the purists and the originators might feel about that. As a teenager in Sweden in the 90s, I was all in on hip hop. Couldn't really rap though, couldn't dance either. I was a decent basketball player, but I didn't have the confidence or self belief. At the age around 14, I had made it into inner city team in Stockholm, one of the best teams in the country in my age group. And these kids were so much cooler than me. They had like cable TV with MTV and subway trains, and I had acres and forests and horses as my neighbors. So when I got my first Jordans, it gave me confidence. You could almost see how cool I think I am in these shoes, despite being all dorky and dunking on low rims. I don't know if the shoes actually made me play better, but they gave me a sense of belonging. And with that confidence in me, I actually believe I did become a better basketball player. So when people ask me why sneakers, that's the main reason. Sneakers gave me a sense of belonging. So to be close to sneakers, I started working in a sporting goods store for a few years before I asked my friend Peter that I worked with if he wanted to join me to start our own company. We wanted to sell athletic footwear based on looks rather than function, sneakers. In retrospect, I wanted to do more than just sell sneakers. I wanted to be part of these cultures that sneakers was part of, like basketball and music. For me, it was mostly about hip hop, but there was different types of sneaker needs for different types of music, like rockers coming in for the Converse All Stars and b-boys coming in for the Puma Clydes. So sneakers became my ticket into these cultures. And together with like-minded others that I share this passion with, we built a $100 million business out of it. And I'm proud of that. Not the financial result per se, because I always care more about what makes the result than the actual result. But the result means that we reached a lot of people all around the world. That's mind-blowing to me. A few months ago, I stopped working at the company we started in '99. We took that further than my wildest teenage dreams could ever have imagined, and now it's time to let somebody else push that forward. As I was stepping away, it gave me some time to reflect over why and how it worked for us. It worked because we all want to belong to something. Everyone. We want to be part of something, like a family, a group of friends, a community. And we are. We're usually part of many things, many families, or well, many group of friends. Anyway, it's in our nature. We want to be part of something bigger than ourselves because it gives us a purpose. Each group and each community have different cultures, and the bigger the group, the fewer but stronger ground rules there are to follow. Like in Sweden, you kind of have to celebrate Midsummer's Eve by dancing around a pole and eat pickled herring. It's what we do. It's in our culture. Everyone's doing it. Then you have variations of culture, or a response to culture, or an evolution, subcultures, like hip hop. Hip-hop is a response to existing music. A group of young kids from the black and brown communities in the Bronx, they took an existing music and looped it, blended, and pushed it forward to make it their own. These kids are now old. Some of them might be grumpy, talking about our subculture is so much better than this generation's subculture. I don't know. I just think they're different. But the point is that subcultures always keep on evolving. As the next generation continues to chop it up and blend it and loop it to make it theirs. So if you're building your brand around a subculture, as we did, you have to be on your toes and keep with the movement. Otherwise, you'll get outdated. You have to stay in front of the wave to catch it, right? Building your brand around a subculture might be even more important today, as we're eager to follow individuals more than big corporations. And that behavior is not even that new. When Nike tried to sell basketball shoes to the world in the late 70s and 80s, it didn't really work that well. Nike almost went out of business. But when Michael Jordan asked the basketball community to buy his shoes, everyone responded, and it ended up fueling basketball culture even beyond the sport of basketball. Not to mention, it actually saved Nike. And don't mistake this for just marketing. Nike has Global Sports Hour, where they encourage all their employees to do sports all around the world. And if you go to their world headquarters in Portland, you will find soccer fields and basketball courts and running tracks all over the place. Because that's the culture that Nike built their world around. They're not just selling products to people. They want people to be part of their culture. And they know they have to be about it to talk about it. Being part of something bigger than your brand is far more powerful than any marketing. So if you're someone within a bigger culture, it builds brand awareness and credibility. And today, in this era, in a world where immediate data points are just infinite, we sometimes get caught up in short-term transactional marketing. Within the past 5-10 years, as social media and influencers have become a thing, it's quite natural that you will move towards the short-term transactional marketing and focus less on the long-term brand building. But here's the irony. The lower the brand awareness you have, the more you have to spend on your transactional and short-term marketing. So the less time you engage with your community in organic ways, the more you actually have to pay them to come see you rather than the other way around. We build our brand and our business around product, of course. There wouldn't be a sneaker store without sneakers. But today there's a sneaker store almost around every corner in every major city. But we built our brand around a subculture much larger than the product that we sold. So we focused on throwing the best parties, having the best events, telling the best stories in every city we decided to take on. And we invited the community to take part of that. See, the general idea is to create moments within our world that are so engaging that it makes people want to share that within the community. You know, you want to give them that feeling. You want to spark something in them, right? We even have a nightclub in the basement of our New York store and a restaurant next to our Tokyo store, because that's where subcultures are defined. It's in the music we listen to and the food we eat and the art we enjoy. The way we dress, like what sneakers we wear, that's a way of showing what subculture you're a part of. It's like merchandise from a concert. You're not buying a Kendrick Lamar hoodie because it's the best fit or the best quality. You're buying it to show everyone that you were there, that you're part of this movement. There's a ton of other things to keep your eye on when you run a business, of course, like cash flow and, well, cash flow is pretty much it, actually. But you also have to make sure that you have a clear vision to make sure that everybody that works with you understands where you're going with this. Establishing what subculture your brand is about makes it easier for everyone to understand what your vision is and what your community is about. And as your brand starts to grow, it's also a good idea to be clear about what your brand is about and what subcultures you're connected to as you start to hire people. In the beginning, it's likely you will hire from within the culture, because that's how it works. You will get from A to B much faster if you work with like-minded people. But if you want to go beyond B, if you want to go to C and D and even further, you're going to need more people with different backgrounds and different experiences. You won't get past B if you don't have diversity in your teams around you. It's like playing a basketball games with a team of 7-foot centers. Looks good on paper, but you're going to need point guards and shooting guards as well. You won't win otherwise. So when you do start to hire from outside of the culture, it is important that you establish what subculture your brand is about, internally as well as externally. Just like Nike, building their brand around sports culture. Or like Ben & Jerry's. When you look at their website, they list their board of directors, and each board of director have listed their non-profitable organization or a social or environmental cause they're part of. They even have a position called Head of Global Activism, and they sell ice cream. But their brand is about something bigger than ice cream. And that has to run through the entire organization, can't just be a front. The community would see right through that. So you got to stay real and you got to keep it honest. And just like Ben & Jerry's, you have to get involved and get back and give back to the community of your subculture. It's your community. That might be the most important thing about building a brand around a subculture. I'm not talking about sending a check somewhere. I'm talking about actually being there, supporting it, listening to it. We had this billboard above our store in New York, and running up to election day in 2020, there was a lot of engagement in our community about getting everybody to vote. So we teamed up with the organization When We All Vote and asked a true New York artist, Kunle Martins, to paint this message over our billboard. You can't take part of a community without being part of a community. You got to support it. And if you want to be a leader within your community, you also need to enable others within it. If you help your community grow, you will grow with it. As young kids, when we started, we had the upper hand because we know more about the subculture than the grown-ups. So as we grow up, we kind of have to put on the next generation. So we hire young photographers, young stylists, designers, and put them on our platforms. Like this example, working with Wakas from his brand Johnny to repurpose the SNS apparel and create a beautiful and authentic campaign with it. By getting the next generation involved, they will continue to chop it up and loop it and blend it to make the subculture theirs. And that's the only way you can actually make them feel like they belong. Can't just be about selling stuff to them, because being a brand is like being a person. If you want to be part of something, you need to bring something to the table. I grew up playing basketball, and in the summers there's this outdoor court right around the corner from where we open up our store on Södermalm. That became a meeting point for me and my friends, and I also made a lot of new friends there over the summers over the shared passion for basketball. A couple of years ago, we had the opportunity to work with Stockholm City to renovate that court and make it a meeting point again. We celebrated it by arranging a classic 3-on-3 tournament. It was really moving for me to see the next generation of ballers come with the same fire and engagement and intensity as I had when I used to play that court 20, 30 years ago. And that is what marketing and brand building is all about. It's about connecting with people by creating emotions. You want to make people feel something. The emotional connection people have with their subculture is really, really powerful. So if you can bond with your community over that shared passion, that's a strong emotional connection that will outlast any hype sneaker drop. I was just a kid when we started our company. That was probably a good thing. I had a strong urge of trying to belong to something. Call it a sneaker culture, hip-hop culture, basketball culture, maybe all of them. I wanted to do more than just consume products. I didn't know how to run a business. I never went to business school, and neither did my friend Peter, who I started this with. But our passion and our drive to belong to something took us all around the world. For us, it was not just marketing. We wanted to build our brand around bigger things than us. We engaged our community and we involved them. We had a clear vision. It was clear what subculture our brand was about, internally as well as externally. And that kept us real, kept us honest. We supported our community, so we grew when our community grew. Because to us, our brand was like a person, and that person made the community feel something. I started as a fan, to let these subcultures define who I was. I'm still a fan. I still play basketball. I still listen to hip hop, both the old version I grew up with and the new, because I'm still curious about what comes next. I still buy way too many sneakers, and they still make me feel like I belong to something. I'll be forever connected to this community, and I'm super excited to see the culture continue to push things forward. Thank you.